Risk. Risk is our business. That's what the Starship is all about. That's why we're aboard her.
What if I was to tell you that Star Trek takes risks, just like Captain Kirk says, right? Risk is our business. Yeah, Star Trek does take risks. It has taken risks, but have they all paid off? Well, you tell me, or I'll tell you, and we'll talk about it. So, like Captain Kirk says, risk is our business, and Star Trek has taken more than a few. Here's my top 5 of the risks that Star Trek took. Number 1, the feature films. Back in 1979, Star Wars had come out 2 years before, and Paramount was like, we gotta do something, right? We gotta answer George Lucas's challenge of incredible space opera. Do we have a space opera? And sure they did. Because Star Wars had hyperspaced into the history books, and Paramount wanted to take Star Trek to the movies. But it was a TV show, right? It's like taking a TV show and making it a film franchise. Well, of course, they took the risk, and it paid off. Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home. All these others followed, so that risk definitely paid off. So, Next Generation, 1987, who would put a big drama space opera, really expensive, into syndicated television? It was unheard of. Syndication was sort of the low rent district, almost the ghetto of broadcast TV. So when Paramount decided to put Star Trek The Next Generation into syndication, it was a big deal. They had game shows in syndication, talk shows, just kind of silly shows, clip shows, sports shows. Never a big, huge drama, a multi-million-dollar drama science fiction show. So, Paramount took the gamble. It worked, and it changed the syndication television game forever. 1989, Star Trek's third season. Next Generation's third season, and Michael Piller joined the staff as executive producer. And Michael Piller opened up Next Generation for any writer, anybody, without even an agent, to submit a script. And this is a very personal risk because I benefited for it. I submitted my script, they bought it, and they produced my episode as Homeward, starring Paul Sorvino in the 7th season. Now, this was very unusual. In fact, the only thing I can think of is Rod Serling back in the day. He would occasionally buy a script, an idea, a story from a amateur writer without an agent. So, one of the episodes I remember was called "I Shot an Arrow in the Air" of Twilight Zone. Other than that, I'm at a loss to think of another show that did the same. So Michael Piller, he convinced Paramount. They took the risk, and it paid off. In fact, Ronald D. Moore, found his way into Star Trek because of the open policy, and the rest obviously was history. 1995, UPN, United Paramount Network. Do you remember it? Well, many people don't, but they certainly remember Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Enterprise. Now, United Paramount Network, it was just what it was, a new network, sort of like the Fox network. For years you had ABC and NBC and CBS. And then you'd have like WWOR, certainly in my area, or Fox 5 New York, smaller networks or netlets. But this was supposed to challenge ABC, NBC, and CBS. Now, it didn't work, or rather, it did fail. I think it lasted maybe 10, 12 years. But it did launch Star Trek Voyager and Star Trek Enterprise, two very successful and very popular Star Trek shows. Well, Enterprise not as successful, but certainly Voyager is still looked upon as one of the better Star Trek. So they took the risk, and it paid off. And now here we are today, right? Paramount Plus, or Paramount streaming service. Paramount Plus is Paramount Pictures streaming service. And they've taken a risk on Paramount Plus Trek, Star Trek, New Trek, whatever you'd like to call it. Now, they gave us Discovery, they gave us Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Picard, and then, of course, Starfleet Academy, the most recent one. Now, they took risks on prequels again, and they took risk on streaming, but most of all, they took the risk of taking Star Trek and making it so different, so amazingly different, that no one could really, I dare say, recognize what Star Trek had become. So this risk, I think most people would say, failed, or it might have certainly succeeded to get them subscribers for Paramount Plus. So that risk paid off. In terms of the Star Trek fan base, they're still feeling it today, having just recently canceled Starfleet Academy, and nobody knows what's next, right? So yeah, Star Trek takes risks. Risk is and should be their business. Some or many have paid off. One, for now, has not really. Or maybe it paid off halfway. So what do you think? What is your thoughts? Give us your thoughts and your feedback. I think Captain Kirk was right? Risk is our business, and it does pay off sometimes. What do you think? Give us your thoughts and feedback. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.
Here's the best sci-fi on YouTube.
On a sci-fi guy, of course.